Hey there. Well,
Good evening, everyone. What's on? How are you all doing on this Thursday? Can you hear me?
hey, Kiana, it's Thomas. I can hear you.
Awesome. How you doing?
I'm good. Got a couple of attendees. Um, got them muted for now, so we'll keep it that way. And uh, I assume you have access to share your screen, correct?
Yes, I do.
Perfect.
And so we're going to start right at 5:30,
Okay.
just to remind people. But yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. I'll be here if you need me.
welcome in. We will get started right at 5:30. So while we are waiting, if you are currently participating, if you would, in the chat, drop where you're from, and where you're located, your business name, and maybe a connection point. So do you have a website, Instagram link, a LinkedIn, Facebook? Where can we find your business? Welcome in, Joshua. Hello, Derek. Hello, Ashley. All right, welcome in, welcome in. If you're just joining us or slowly coming into the room, it is 5:30, and I am a big stickler on being respectful of everyone's time. So I want to welcome you all to Score Simple Step One, starting your business. So this is a foundational class, course, webinar, however you want to qualify it as, to starting your business. So this is giving you just the basic foundational tools, ideas, and concepts that you will need to turn your idea into a viable business in the market. Whether you're thinking about doing something in the next 7 days or 7 years, this is a great resource for you to get connected with SCORE, and connect with us as mentors in an organization to help you move your business ideas along. So I am Kiana. I will be your instructor for the evening. I am a SCORE certified SCORE mentor in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. I have been a SCORE mentor since February of 2023 with the Charlotte chapter. I originally started my SCORE journey in the Charleston, South Carolina area, where I'm originally from, back in 2021, and I relocated to Charlotte, and I wanted to continue serving the small business and entrepreneur community through the SCORE organization. My co-chair tonight, and class manager tonight is Thomas. Thomas, do you mind coming off of mute and video to welcome everyone so we can see your face?
Yes, happy to come off of mute and happy to come on video. Hold on just a second. Here we go. Can you see me, Kiana?
Yes, I can see you.
Great. Thomas Lervick. I'm a very relatively new mentor here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and here to assist on the chat and the Q&A function today as we go through a ton of content. So looks like we've got about 12 attendees so far. Feel free to use the chat to ask any questions. I'll try and answer them in chat, and as we pause throughout the presentation, we'll open those up for Kiana and anyone else to chime in on at certain moments. But happy to be here, and thanks so much.
Thank you so much for that. So we are going to switch the flow up a little bit this evening. So we have the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. They have a segment that they provide resources for the Charlotte community for, and I've seen that some of you all may not necessarily be in the Charlotte area. However, a lot of these resources are still available to you, as Yolanda with the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library will disclose. So we're going to just switch the flow up. She's going to start our presentation for tonight. And let me get her off of mute really quickly, and we will start
Thank
with
you.
the library. Yes, thank you, Yolanda. Welcome in tonight. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for the intro, Kiana. I'm not going to take up much of y'all's time because I know y'all have a lot of information to get through today. But I am Yolanda and I work for the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. And I just wanted to share with you a few of the resources that are available to you. Once again, like Kiana said, some of the resources that I share, or specifically one, will be one that is specific to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. And I'm not sure if other libraries in North Carolina have access to it. But the other one should be available to you through NC Live and with your library card. So we're just going to go over really quickly why you should have a library card if you're in business. All right. So the library has resources. If you're building your business plan, we can help you fill the gaps that you have in that business plan. And remember, your taxes are paying for your library card access, so please take advantage of it. So we're going to take a look at an example really quickly. Let's say you were looking to open a pet supply store. We could do a little survey. Does anybody have a pet on this call? You don't have to participate. Okay. But we know a lot of people have pets. But if you didn't know that, you could use a resource called ABI Inform Collection in order to take a look at different industries. Now, this ABI Inform Collection has great reports for industries, one called First Research Industry Profile, which gives you information about specific industries. And from this report, I can see that 70% of households in the US have at least one pet. So if you're thinking about starting a business for a pet store, then this is a pretty good statistic to know. 70% of households have pets. So once you have that information, you know you're in the right path, you're on the right path, you can use a resource called the Data Axle Reference Solutions. And you can go and use this database in order to find perhaps some competitors. So obviously this report is available to everybody who has a library card. So a lot of people might know that 70% of homes have one pet. So you might want to see where these other pet stores are to see where your competitors are located. And in this case, after we did this search, and it might not be the same anymore, but there are 269 businesses in Mecklenburg County that are already providing pet supplies. So these are good things to know. So also while you're in Data Axle, you can see where all of those pet supply stores are located within Mecklenburg County. There's a heat map function available in this database. And so you can see on a map where all of these places are located. And you might be able to see like where there might be a spot for you to open up a brick and mortar shop for pet stores. So as this slide is saying, even with 269 competitors, there are areas without a supply store, and that could be the place for you to set up shop. Now, this is the resource that I was talking about. You may not have access to if you're not a Charlotte Mecklenburg Library customer, but it's called Simply Analytics. And this gives you a lot of demographic information about the people in the area that you're looking to set up your supply store. So with Simply Analytics, you can take a look at household income and a lot of other different variables, and you can see, in this case, where people live who spend the most money on their pets. We can get into more detail if you set up a one-on-one with us or you come into the library, and we can tell you more about the Simply Analytics resource, but it does provide you great information about possible clients and customers. And once you get into Simply Analytics, you can get a lot of information. You can see how much people spend beyond just that they have a pet, but you can see how much they spend. So in this case, in 2022, people in Mecklenburg County spent almost $500 million on pets. All right, so there's a lot of money out there floating for those who are spending money on their pets. For those who are pet owners, maybe you know, or pet carers. I can't remember the term. I think there's a different term now that people use. All right. So once we've gathered all this information from ABI Inform about the industry, from Data Axle about our customers, our competitors, and Simply Analytics about our customers, we find out that, it's pretty evenly spread around this money for pet services, the people who have pets. So it looks like it's possible that pet stores, each one that is around the Mecklenburg County area, you could be looking at almost $2 million a year. I mean, if it was spread out equally, there's a possibility that that's what you could be making. And so, if you go ahead and set up shop, then you can also get a list of the businesses nearby to invite them to your grand opening, and you can grab that from either Simply Analytics or Data Axle. And we can definitely show you more information about that if you come and visit us at the library. So you can use these databases together, as I showed you in the previous slide, to kind of make assumptions. And it's also possible for you to narrow down the specific area that would work best for you to set up your company. So you're using Data Axle to see where your competitors are, and then you're using Simply Analytics to see where your clients are, your potential clients are, and then you just use those two maps and find out the best place to set up shop. So more information can be found through Simply Analytics. You can find out details about people's ages, which zip codes they live in, their language, housing. It could be a wide range of variables that are available in Simply Analytics that you can find out about potential customers. All right. So once you figure out your audience, your target market, what do you say to them? So we have a database in EBSCO called Master File Premier. It's a great place to find articles about different industries where you can pick up any maybe quotes or facts that you want to post to your social media, maybe something you want to include on a flyer. These are just helpful points to make, facts that you can find that can help support the argument that your business is the best, or it should be some place that somebody visits. And you also always want to keep up with what's going on locally. So we do have access to the Charlotte Business Journal and the Charlotte Observer. And then you can always, while you're getting information about your industry, you can also continue to learn on your own and keep yourself up to date on what's going on, and also staying on top of any new technology that might be occurring in your field. And you can do that through LinkedIn Learning. It used to be called lynda.com, but that's available with your library card. And you can also do Universal Class, which offers certification as well as continuing education credits. If you're looking for where to find everybody that's going to gather together that you need to speak to, you can use the Gale Directory Library, and that provides you access with the Encyclopedia of Organizations. And so you can find, if you are, looking for all of the pet store owners and you just want to talk to them and see what they're about, you can use this Encyclopedia of Associations to find out when they meet. Maybe they have a convention or a conference every year and you want to know when that is. You can also find, maybe there's a conference for exotic animal owners. Maybe you want to go there and promote your business. So that Encyclopedia of Associations is really helpful. Now, as I said, there's a lot of information in these databases. So if you do need help, you can always go to the library's website, and you can book a librarian. And we have one-on-one business research programs that you can sign up and register for. There's also other business events that are available to you. And of course, since this is the library, we do have books available for you. So if you're looking for information on business plan or um, a marketing plan or doing market research, we have business books, audiobooks. You can download our ebooks and e-audiobooks, and of course, we have videos and more. So we always want to make sure that you know that if you have a library card and you're in business, then we can help fill in those gaps for your business plan, find your customers, or if you need something new to say on social media, then we are here for you. Right. So thank you for listening. So I did see the question, are these available statewide? So those first databases, all the databases, um, except for Simply Analytics, are available statewide. The LinkedIn Learning, that may be specific just to Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library, but you want to check with your public library to see. Universal Class also may be specific to Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library.
Awesome. Thank you. So before we let Yolanda go, are there any questions for the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library or anything about the library, maybe the statewide organization as well? Any questions? Going once. Right. So Derek asks, are the databases only accessible in person? Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry, yes, you can access the databases remotely, but you'll need a library card in order to access them.
And then someone asked, Dwayne asked, are any of the slides that you presented available to us?
I think that Youth Score will send both the recording and the slides when after your session tonight.
Yes, I definitely know you will get the Simple Steps email recording. So it will include the slide through the presentation. I'm not sure if it will send the slides as a PDF file.
Yeah, it will be a PDF. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. All right. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Yolanda, for spending a few moments with us on your Thursday evening. You're more than welcome to hang out for the presentation, or if you have to go, that is perfectly fine as well. I do thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so let's hop into the score presentation. To share my screen. All right. So, start simple steps for starting your business. So, a little bit about SCORE. So, SCORE is a team, or we are a team of SCORE volunteers. Most of us are successful and experienced business executives, and a little bit has transitioned over the course of time. So, SCORE was once where retired business executives came to give back to the community, but now we have shifted to where a lot of us, especially in the Charlotte chapter, we are either full-time entrepreneurs, so actively working in our businesses. We do still have a great bit of, or a good deal of retirees a part of our team. And then we also have our hybrid mentors. So those who are working full-time, they're gainfully employed, but they're also entrepreneurs and small business owners on the side. And so one of the things that I really think that does is it gives a really good perspective of how to efficiently run a business depending on your capacity and your level of experience and knowledge in business. So we have a variety of small business owners on our team within the Charlotte area that is more than welcome to take you on as a mentee and to help support you move your business ideas along. So, what we offer through through our SCORE organization, we offer free mentoring, one-on-one mentoring. A lot of us are doing our mentoring sessions via video, just because COVID allows us that flexibility. We also host bi-monthly. Um, bi-monthly outreach networking events. They are called the Big Score Mixers. So if you're just signing up for the Simple Steps webinar, now you will start to get that marketing where we will be hosting our next Christmas party will be December 3rd. And then after that, we will pick up in January and go every other month. And so this website here, the charlotte.score.org, is our chapter's website. So all of the webinar sessions and information is specific to our Charlotte chapter. So make sure you check it out there. And then also with that web address, you can go and sign up for a mentor within our chapter, specifically to the charlotte.score.org website. So this is our process roadmap. It's very generic, so it doesn't necessarily happen in these steps. But we do know that session one is startup basics, which is what Simple Steps one is. And then from here, if you see an intersection where one-on-one mentoring collides with the arrow to the right to session two, that is where you begin your relationship with SCORE. If you are requesting a mentor after this session this evening, business concept. And so some of you, I have seen some of the ideas in the chat. Lucy, I believe, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I think there's a wonderful idea for you all in Asheville to pick up the pieces. And I'm glad to see you on tonight. I hope you and your community are doing well. But this is where if you connect with a SCORE mentor, taking that thought and that idea of maybe championing on restoring the operations of the furniture store comes into play. So really unpacking what does that look like for you and your community in where the current situation in the state of Asheville is. So really having that guidance before spending money, before headache, heartache, all of those things really comes into play. And once again, we are free. And we are free because we are a part of the SBA. So tax dollars are allocated towards the SCORE organization to be able to provide the service to the small business community. So take advantage of the things that you are subliminally paying for anyway. So, startup basics. Are you ready? So, if you have not started a business yet, thumbs up, thumbs down if you think you are ready. Let me just get some temperature. Let me see what we all think. We're ready. If we think you're ready, let's see who's ready to start a business. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Stephanie says no, she's not ready. Okay, thank you for the honesty. Mei Ling says she's ready. They're ready. Sorry. Lucy's ready. Joshua's ready. All right, awesome. All right. So, tonight, what you'll learn about is the myths and realities of entrepreneurship. We will discuss critical success factors. We will also provide you with knowing your options, components of business ownership, unpacking how do you make it legal. We will high level overview, go over business plan basics, and then we will leave off or end off with a self assessment and next steps. So, myth one, as an entrepreneur, you won't have to work that hard or put in such long hours. Can anyone in the chat kind of discuss why do you believe that that is a myth? Because it is absolutely 100% false. You will put in a lot of hours as an entrepreneur, small business owner. So, can you kind of describe what do you anticipate? How many hours or how long of a day you may anticipate having um, as you are starting your business? Right. So Veronica says you have to dedicate yourself more than you did for your 9 to 5. Absolutely. As the founder, if you're going in solo, you have to take on multiple hats. Yes. 10 hours a day is probably minimum. Absolutely, Joshua. Absolutely. 16 hours, 6 to 7 hours daily, 60 hours per week. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a full time entrepreneur. I just got to a place where I'm quantifying how many hours I work per week. But when you think about starting a business from the very beginning, there are so many learning curves because you do have to wear so many hats. So you may be strong in one area. Like me, I am a wordsmith, so I'm a consultant, and so I do a lot of standard operating procedures. I love to read, I love to write, but my weaknesses is marketing. So I spend a lot of time on how to get better at graphics and really making sure that color psychology is working for my organization. And social media marketing, I am naturally not a social media person, so that's a learning curve for me, and really understanding those analytics. And so a lot of times what we spend, especially in the beginning, we spend our most time focusing on where we are not, where we're most weak at. Because in order to have a well-oiled machine, you kind of gotta have so many things moving at one time. And so, absolutely, you put in a lot of hours working for your business. There's so many things that you have to focus on aside from client satisfaction, customer experience. Making sure your books are in order when it's time to pay your taxes quarterly and annually. Making sure your pricing is correct, and it is, you're constantly monitoring if you're profitable. Are you accounting for all of the things that it takes to actually run your business? And so those are things that causes you to have long hours. It's not just actually doing the work that you love, it's the things that you don't know to keep yourself going. So myth one, you do have to put in a lot of work and a lot of long hours. So myth two, my product or service is unique and there is no competition. So kind of jump in the chat. Who do you think your competitor is right now, even if you have not started a business? And it could be local, it could be national, it could be international, but drop one competitor that you know of within your industry that you will have, no matter how unique your product is. Cardinal Health. Okay, so Cardinal Health. So Dwayne, what is your business? Tell me what your business is. Joshua, any marketing firm. Rory, GE. So General Electric. Okay, and Rory, I'm sorry. Drop your business in. Patriot Pools. Okay. Restoration Hardware. Wells and so many. Okay, yes. So you the furnitures. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so there you go. That's step number, not number one, but we will say that identifying who your competitors are is so vital. Now, I will say that I am a strong believer in what is for me will gravitate toward me. Right. So I don't spend a lot of time focusing on my competitors, but I will say that I pay attention to the fact that one, I have them, and two, I have to remain competitive and unique in what I offer, because a lot of times we're offering the same thing. It is the value that you are able to sell to your customers that matter. So there will always going to be competitors in your industry. We're not reinventing the wheels over here. The cars will always be a car. Now, whether they're electric, flying, or gas, that's contingent on how unique you can make that product. But it's a car, and it's going to be a car. So awesome. So myth number three. Oops, sorry guys. Myth three. Okay. Myth three: business owners can deduct everything, so you won't have to pay taxes. So let's see. So I don't really know what I want you to engage with that, but I will say this: taxes in the financial spaces of understanding your business. My first advice is, even if you just have an idea right now, you don't even have an LLC, no legalized paperwork, one of the first things I would encourage to do is to start interviewing who is going to be your CPA. Don't spend any money. Get familiar, build a relationship with who you feel comfortable with, who you feel is trustworthy, who you feel like you can come to and really has, unless you are experienced in taxes and accounting, who has the heart of a teacher that is willing to really be patient with you as you're growing a business with no money to, your end goals or your vision of how much revenue you would like to see. But you have to be mindful that if you deduct everything on paper, you're showing that your business doesn't make any money. And that is counterproductive if you're going to ask for funding opportunities down the line. So, being mindful of how to play that game essentially is something that off the beginning, off the rip, you need to be able to have someone that you consult with, you can lean on, and that has expertise in that field because you don't want to deduct everything. But you want to deduct what is necessary, and if you are 100% self-employed, meaning that you're going to be filing the business revenue expenses with your personal individual, you definitely want to make sure that you have great understanding, great relationship and counsel surrounding that because you don't want to owe, but you don't want to not show enough to be able to get funding in the future. So just be mindful of myth number 3: do not deduct everything. Okay, so myth number 4: as a business owner, you won't have a boss. So, can someone drop in the chat who your boss will be when you become a self employed or small business owner? Think of some of your bosses. Target customers, absolutely. Your customers, everyone says customers. That is absolutely. Yes, your customers are your boss. They tell you what you want. Who else? There's some other bosses in this space. Clients, customers, yeah. The IRS, absolutely. The IRS is going to be monitoring stakeholders, absolutely. Who your stakeholders are. Are you keeping them happy? Why would they want to continue to invest in your business? Absolutely. They are going to tell you what you should and should not be putting out as products. Now, they're going to give you guidance because, of course, they want to be as profitable as possible. But if your stakeholders want you to maximize on pricing, but your target audience and your target customers want the lowest deal possible, how do you find the medium? Right. And so how do you make everyone happy? And then you got to find create some profit for yourself. So there are multiple bosses when it comes down to being a business owner. Absolutely, your customers are going to be your bosses. The IRS is going to be your boss. Stakeholders are going to be your boss. But let's get down to compliance. So if you are going to have a brick and mortar location, let's not forget about coding. It's in inspections. Let's not forget about ethics, right? So there's a lot of digital compliance that you have to have surrounding privacy, electronic data. So these are all things that are considered bosses because you need to report to them, right? Your bosses are who you report to. So when you're thinking about your specific business, think about all of your reporting requirements, and those are going to be your bosses. And then number 5, business owners get to do whatever they want. Okay, so I'm not really sure what that is supposed to mean because it's kind of like a two-edged sword. In some capacities, you are able to create your own blueprint for your business, right? It's your idea. You're able to create your own operating hours. You're able to create your own product and service list. You're able to create you're able to create your capacity level. So, how many customers, clients, products do you want to serve into the community or beyond your local community? So, you can kind of do what you want in certain aspects of the foundational pieces of determining your boundaries for your business. Um, but then once you establish those boundaries, it's going to be hard to create gray area when you have clients that set expectations. So, myth number 5 can be debunked when you think about once you establish the order, boundaries, and the framework for your organization, that which gives you that creative flow and creative space to create. Once you create that, then your customers and all of the other stakeholders and key players and components of the business kind of gravitates or will gravitate and then create that restriction because they're expecting you to be open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, things of that nature. So you can do what you want, but not really do what you want once you establish what you are going to do. All right. So, reality, proper planning is key. So, here's a cool statistic about the percentage of businesses that are deemed successful or failure after 2 years. So, roughly after 2 years, 76% of businesses are successful. And then 24% of businesses are qualified as failed businesses. So in the chat, what do you think causes a business to be successful after 2 years? So we're just going to focus on the wins. What's this year? 2024. So 2026, you start a business today after this class, and 2 years from now, you are still in operations. What are some of those attributes that allows you to be around in 2 years from today? Consistency and reliability, absolutely. Absolutely. Still in love with it. Passion. Absolutely. Open minded. Yes. Proper systems in place. Absolutely. Excellent customer service. Customer service is going to be a huge thing as to why you stay around. Staying in top of your market. Yes, absolutely. Utilizing some of those resources that the library said, right? So you can utilize the data components so you can continue your market research. Yeah, so absolutely. So those are all great attributes to what keeps a business alive. So after 5 years, though, we are split. So half of that 76% is now 50-50. So let's look at the other side of the coin and let's drop 5 years from now, 2029. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so crazy, right? 2029. But what would cause your business to have failed between that year one or day one and year five? Confirmation bias. Okay, what do you mean by that? Elaborate. I've never heard of that, Joshua. So we focus poor cash flow. Cash flow is going to be a big thing. Absolutely. Lack of consistency. Inability to pivot or adapt. 100%. Yes. Do you have a continuity plan? I'm going to throw that out there because I'm a big risk resilience person. So what is that contingency plan? Okay, so you said believing how you currently operate is the best. Okay. Okay, so ego. You have an ego. You think that what you're doing is right and there's no way for improvement. Okay, absolutely, because every industry is changing, and I have an 11-year-old daughter, and social media from when I first started with MySpace to TikTok is completely different, but you had to pivot, right? So absolutely. Consistency, lack of consistency, yep. And strategic planning, yes. Failing to grow, absolutely. So in 5 years, and a lot can happen, right, in 5 years. And so let's look back 5 years and what made businesses be able to surpass the whole COVID era, right? So a lot of times is the being able to pivot quickly, having contingency plans in place, strategic planning, understanding that you don't know everything, right? And so how you operate, you may need to switch leaders, right? Jeff Bezos just switched leaders, so he's not even the CEO of Amazon anymore. So do you know how big of a person that you have to be to realize like I may not be the best suit for this job anymore. It doesn't make you less of your creativity and what you decided to start. It's you understanding that business has to continue growing. So absolutely. Thank you all for that. Those were good. So do you have what it takes? And this could be these we'll go through these bullet points and then I'll share my thoughts after. So, critical success factors: education, experience in the field. So are you doing something that you know how to do, right? Do you have a huge learning curve when it comes down to the actual product or service that you're offering? Now, I know I said before that with the long hours, there are learning curves for the other components of running a business. But when it comes down to your core mission values, what you offer, do you have some sort of education and experience in that particular thing? Strong work ethic. That's absolutely 100% a critical success factor. You have to be able to accept rejection without internalizing. Do you know how many no's you will get before you get a yes? So you have to be able to work through those no's or those days where you have no revenue coming in, where you're literally day two, day 30, zero, but that passion is allowing you to keep on getting up and working through the day. Effective time management. I will say that that is one of the biggest things and challenges that I often see with small business owners. And honestly, it's not even just the new ones. It is small business owners really grasping that you have 24 hours in a day and you have to maximize on those 24 hours for all of the hats that you wear, in addition to your personal life, right? And not become overwhelmed. So, effective time management, um, the ability to manage and multitask. So, with time management, and if you know anything about time management, multitasking is a no when it comes down to time management because productivity is actually affected by trying to multitask. So I think the ability to manage and delegate is a critical success factor. So that goes back to understanding your weaknesses, owning your weaknesses, and finding support where you need help. Whether that is the marketing, whether it is the finance, whether it is the customer experience, whether it is the legal support, making sure you have contracts and all of those things. So the ability to manage and delegate, I think, is a better critical success factor. Um, and then the willingness to ask for help and take advice from others. Once again, delegation. And then adequate capital. There is going to require something from you to invest in your business. And I know a lot of times people think capital is just revenue and funding, but think about your resources, resource allocation. Do you know someone that knows someone that could step in place for some of the things that you have to get done when it comes down to your critical success factors? So I'm going to pause right here and I'm going to ask you all to drop some critical success factors that you think you need to be able to be successful as a small business owner, entrepreneur, aside from what's listed. So, what are some of the things that you need to be able to show up for your business to be able to be successful in your business? You specifically. The ability to get ahead of problems, absolutely. So what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to forecast. That is a trait. You need to be able to forecast the opportunities and the risks that may be associated with what you are trying to do. Absolutely. Thank you, Derek. Being adaptable, eager to learn, taking advice, absolutely. People who have been there. Okay, customer base and good vendor network. Absolutely, Lucy. That is a great thing. Critical success factor, being able to understand your suppliers. That is awesome. Yes, I know you're in furniture, so that's going to be a huge thing. And with all of the ports having chaos, how do you build that good vendor network so that way you have open communication with them that leads to open communication with your clients? So your success factor is communication. I think that that's a great one that's not listed. Communication is not listed. Thank you all. Okay, so do you have the financial resources? So, essential considerations when you're thinking about your particular business. Now, not all of these not all of these items listed is specific to your business. So, tools and equipment. So, do you have the tools or do you have the resources to procure those tools and equipment for your business? And when you think about tools and equipment, don't think about just big ticket items. Software is a tool and equipment. How do you have CRM or customer relation management tool software, project based software, emails, right? With domain, do you have a domain? Do you have a website? Leasehold improvements. So that is for those who are going to need brick and mortar locations, and Can you budget that? Are you able to handle a commercial lease in addition to your personal life expenses? Licenses and permits. Once again, coding, enforcing coding, making sure you're compliant. Professional fees. So, depending on what your business is and what type of profession, of course, do you have those professional fees to keep your license active and good standing? Initial inventory, liability insurance. Thank you, Veronica. Absolutely. And then working capital reserve funds. And so that is that cash flow that Mr. Rory was talking about. Do you have cash flow coming in, reserves? So do you have the financial resources? Okay. And then this kind of goes back to when you're thinking about brick and mortar locations, big ticket item purchases. Are you able to cover your total monthly cost of living expenses? Can you cut back in certain areas? Because most, if not all, small business owners start off by bootstrapping. And bootstrapping is your own money investing, right? There are grants available for grants are more available for nonprofits, but I will not say that there's none available for profits. However, when you're thinking about for-profit businesses, right? They want to see some skin in the game. So if you have an idea and you're wanting $60,000 from the bank, but you're not willing to invest any money into it, the bank is not going to give that to you because you're awesome and you have this idea and but you don't have any skin in the game, right? It's all about risk. Outstanding debt, amount in savings, total amount needed to cover 6 to 12 months of expenses. And honestly, 6 months is your emergency savings. So do you have that? And those are things to consider. Now, these are not set in stone items, but they are things to consider because it gets hard before it gets good, right? And so you got to think you're starting with no client, no awareness, no branding, no one knows who you are. And so you have to be able to continue your life until people know who your business is, right? So those are considerations, not set in stone, definite. So know your options. So advantages. Okay, and so these options here, excuse me, let me backtrack a little bit. So this section here talks about the different types of businesses you can start. So this is providing you with some ideas that maybe you may not have thought about when you're thinking about starting a business. Because for most people and entrepreneurs, the idea of starting a business is you think that you have to start it from the ground up. And so this just gives you a little bit of variety and options to think through when you're thinking about what you want to start and begin. So starting a brand new business from the building blocks up, no framework, no none of that, right? So some of the advantages are you're not hampered by previous reputation or technologies of an existing business. You can choose your own location, name, logo, and you build your own relationships. And you're able to explore new markets and directions. So this is if you're starting a completely brand new business. It's your idea. You thought about it. You want to lean into it. The disadvantage is you have no existing customer base to build on. So that is that going back to those financial considerations. Do you have that emergency savings built so that way you can focus on building a customer base and you're not trying to pay rent and or a mortgage and eat and you don't have no money coming in. So that's what that is. You're taking a bigger risk. So once again, financial considerations, grants for-profit businesses. They want to see a business have revenue. They want to see a business have investment as the business owner, and the banks do too. So you're going to take a bigger risk because they're going to expect you to say, "Hey, I need 60, but I'm going to put in 25 of my own," something like that. And then there's no track record, so there's difficulty in getting financing. And then also with no track record, you're having to build your reputation in your community and with your audience, and so people are going to be more leery of trusting you because they don't know who you are. So that's a disadvantage. So buying an existing business, there's a whole market out there for buying existing businesses. And so one of the common ones that I've seen is like if you, because there are some people who are literally just serial entrepreneurs, and so they love the thrill of buying a business, selling a business, buying a business, selling a business. And so one of the consistent businesses that I see being sold a lot are cleaners, dry cleaners. And so an advantage to that is you have established clientele and suppliers and the location is known. So, you think about, I mean, I know for me, where I'm from, the cleaners that are in my community, they've been there forever, right? So just imagine you taking over, you don't have to go and find those customers. You already know that they're going to come to you. And then the business is known, and then the business is a known quantity with, I don't know if they're supposed to say quantity, but the business is a known quantity with a proven formula and name. Um, and can review financial records, so you can check the P&L statements of the business to see if it's really profitable and worth the risk. And it may be easier to obtain financing. So the disadvantages of purchasing a or an existing business is the potential hidden costs. So maybe not everything is in the financial records. Maybe it's a family owned business that you're buying, and they didn't have great family records. Maybe whoever the leader was of the family business kept everything in their head, and so now you have to figure out what's the true accuracy of the financial records. Um, Loyalty to owner, that was one thing I've encountered a customer or client, excuse me, who wanted to buy a mom and pop Italian shop. And when he made the purchase, he saw that customer loyalty went down because the customers were coming for the family that they knew owned it. So having to reestablish that relationship, um, inventory, employees, and then no guarantee that success will come. A big one is franchising. I encountered my first franchisee with being a score mentor, never dealt with franchises. Very interesting concept. And so, a few of the advantages of purchasing a franchise is you have a proven system with proven products and services. Does anyone know how much it is to franchise a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A? Does anybody know? I'm gonna go on, and if you know or you have an idea, drop that number in the chat. Um, Franchises have their own marketing and sales power, so you don't have to go out and do heavy lifting when it comes down to marketing. A lot of them have their own training and professional guidance. Continued consulting relationship, and then access to other franchisees for help. Um, and then the disadvantages, or some disadvantages to purchasing a franchise, is limited freedom to make your own decisions. Yeah, so you have to go by their standards. They normally have franchisee blueprints where you know color what is it, like the color of uniforms have to be within a hex code. Like there cannot be any room for creativity, because they have a proven system and plan. You pay royalty fees and other fees to the franchises. I didn't know that. So you have to pay to keep their logo and system afloat. You have to pay into that. And then contract limits, and then franchisor problems are your problem. So if there's like McDonald's got this E. coli thing going on right now. So unfortunately, we only see McDonald's. We don't, I mean, unless you really pay attention, but most of the time when you go into your neighborhood McDonald's, you don't pay attention that it is independently owned and franchised by Kiana Grant. You just see McDonald's. And so, the E. coli thing is like, hold on, let me not go there right now. So those are some of the things you have to consider when you're purchasing a franchise. And so, okay, so back to the McDonald's or Chick-fil-A franchise. So from my understanding, in order to franchise a McDonald's, it was $1 million to do it. And it's because they know you will make that money back. And I honestly, I could see why. Like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A are two of the fast food chains that you know what you're gonna get. Like Chick-fil-A, you're gonna get immaculate service. unless it's somebody's off day. But for the most part, you can go to Chick-fil-A in any community, any city, off any interstate, and you're going to get consistency across the board. And with McDonald's, if you know you have a favorite item on that list, on their menu, you're going to consistently get that favorite item and keep it moving, right? We all go to McDonald's for French fries. So, but thank you all. So our next option is a home-based remote business. So our e-commerce businesses, our online-based businesses. So some of the advantages are convenient work location, less overhead. You have a flexible schedule, tax advantages, and then you can hire people anywhere in the U.S. And then a few disadvantages. You may face zoning or deed restrictions, isolation from others, difficulty finding financing, and then distractions. Excuse me, family distractions. And so, some of these advantages and disadvantages, I think, need to be updated, simply because um, you don't really have flexible scheduling when you work from home. You may not have to have commute time, but a lot of times you find yourself working longer just because you are at home, you're in the comfort of your home. And then I definitely agree with the facing the zoning issues. Depending on the nature of your business, you can get in trouble with your HOAs. So you have to be able to really understand what you're doing and follow those guidelines to make sure that you're compliant all across the board. Nonprofit. So a nonprofit is listed because I know it's a nonprofit, but it is still a business. And so you still are offering products, you're still offering services, or mainly services to a community, and you have a customer base. The only difference is, um, is your funding resource, your revenue resource is different. You fundraise versus sell products, essentially. And so the advantages is you may qualify for government or foundational grants. You have protection from liabilities for directors and employees. You can pay salaries to your employees and consultant fees for contractors. The disadvantages is most focused on educational and charitable purposes. It cannot profit from those who created the organization. All profits remain within the org, and then you have to apply and qualify for 501c3 tax exemption status. Online business is essentially the same as a home base. This focuses on the e-commerce. So if you are selling products online, startup costs are lower. Consumer acceptance is growing. You can kind of reach anyone on any space of the globe. And convenience. So setting up a Shopify, people can shop 24 hours, 24/7. Excuse me. And then you have the flexibility to do business anywhere. I mean, anytime from anywhere. Disadvantages: more competition, higher expectations, and then no personal contact from customers. All right, so I'm gonna pause there. Do we have any questions so far? And Thomas, feel free to chime in if you have anything that you want to add to the conversation.
Yeah, Kiana, nothing for me at this point. But yeah, if you do have a question, feel free to type it in the chat, and Kiana or myself will either answer it live or via the chat function.
Okay, so Dwayne says, where would a transportation business land in what I just said? So when you're saying transportation, and as a matter of fact, Dwayne, can you come off of mute and explain to me when you say transportation? Are you talking about trucks? What space of transportation?
And Dwayne, I've allowed you the ability to come off mute.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm a transportation business. I would like to focus on like medical courier though. I just have like a want to be able to help people, say like the elderly or even children with needs, maybe like oxygen tank or delivering medical supplies, medicine and whatnot to them. But just overall, like if I have a decent enough size truck, I don't mind. Like I'll haul cars, whatever I can find.
Okay.
I'm kind of all over the place,
So
I know.
Oh, no, you're fine. So you would be starting a new business. When we're thinking about the examples here, you would be starting a new business. And so you may have some qualities of an online business, or home-based business, depending if you want to procure office space to be able to have intake, maybe do interviews if you're doing courier services. But you would be starting a new business essentially because you're not using an existing blueprint to build the idea from the ground up. So you wouldn't, you're not, unless you plan on buying someone else's existing courier service business or franchising. I'm not sure if there's any franchises in that space, but unless you plan on franchising. So if you're not doing either of those, then it would be starting a new business with some probably like some home-based attributes to get you started so you can keep your overhead costs low. Okay, so Lillian, can you come off of mute for me and ask your question?
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Really nice to be part of this web chat. But yeah, I was thinking about opening a small home-based baking business, and I was wondering, right now I've just been baking and handing out stuff to friends and neighbors and people around. So I was wondering at what point I haven't been charging anything for it. It's just out of, friendship and a relationship that I've been carrying this on. But I was wondering at what time do I need to, like, if I want to make it a business, do I have to apply for permits and licenses?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the time that you would need to apply for such permits and licenses is when you expand how the quantity, right? So if you're currently just kind of handing out to people that are familiar with you, then essentially it's not really a business, right? Because you're not transactional. But when you, let's say you want to start off smaller, so it'd be
Hmm.
bigger than your current network, but you want to maybe do like a vendor. So maybe you go to farmers market. So that is when you would do, and I think depending on your area, but I think I believe with the city of Charlotte, like you can do like a day-to-day permit based off of like vendoring opportunities. So maybe you're not trying to go straight into a bakery, but you want to be able to bake at home to sell at a farmers market, then you would apply for permits to be able to do that when you're getting ready to cross that bridge.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so Veronica, if you would come off and ask your question, please.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. I'm not sure if you're speaking, but I can't hear you.
Okay. No, my question was I'm looking at doing a medical credentialing service, which is home based. And I was not sure after listening, I'm offering a service, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not offering a product. So that's why I asked, would it fall up on the e-commerce or more as a consulting business? Because I will
So
be
it,
working with medical providers on getting them credentialed with insurance companies.
okay. So when you say get them credentialed with insurance providers, so if I am a APP and I want to be able to provide services through Aetna, or my patients can have Aetna insurance and come through me, you would help facilitate the paperwork to get Aetna as one of my providers.
That's correct. Right. I would
Okay,
do the
so
verification of your license and all your documentation for them to say that, yes, you are legit, you are licensed to perform the services that they need performed for their patient base.
okay. So that would be consulting, because you would have to create a more in-depth, one relationship, And then two, your processes. So e-commerce, when you're thinking about e-commerce, think about being able to buy it off the shelf, check it out, and get it sent. So you don't have as much involvement with the transaction with e-commerce businesses. So this would be considered a service-based business, and especially in consulting space, because you would then be kind of like that liaison where you're making sure that everyone has what they need to be able to get that credential at the end. So that would be consulting.
Okay. All right. Because I know I was trying to look it up under what the NCIS code, and there's so many of them. So trying to figure out which one is actually correct and making sure you're
So
labeled correctly.
And so the thing with the NAICS codes is it's okay to have multiple, right? So you unfortunately, it's like you just said, there's so many of them. So you can have multiple. Think about kind of like all of the all of the tasks that requires you to be able to get to that end product, which would be a credentialed provider with insurance. And so start plugging those in as your NAICS codes. And then if you can go down to a sub like a sub child code, that's fine. But start with all of the parent codes of the tasks that you do. And it's okay if you have multiple. It's okay if you have multiple. And then as you get deeper into your business, you'll continuously refine your NAICS codes.
Oh, okay, great, thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you all for chiming in. Any other questions? All right. We talked about franchise. All right, so components of owning a business. So now we're going to go into all of those many hats that we talked about at the very beginning. How many hats do you actually wear as a business owner? So you are the CEO of your business. This is your baby. This is your idea. This is what you want to bring into the market. This is how you want to make impact for your customers, your community, all of those good things. So you are the visionary. You're the CEO. You're also the administrator. So you're the one who is going to be answering phones, sending out emails, having customer service, putting things on the calendar. So you're going to be very administrative, especially at the beginning. And then these other things, I'm not going to go through all of those, but the blue row, I will call the blue row, are areas where you may wear the hat as an overseer, a manager, but if you have capacity and the ability to maybe delegate some of it, I absolutely 100% suggest delegating sooner than later. Do it before you get too overwhelmed. And then technology and facilities. And so, depending on your business, you may not necessarily wear every single hat, but it is important to identify which hat is yours. Are you going to be the only person doing it? Are you going to solicit support and help from an intern, an employee, a contractor, family, friends, whomever, and then be the overseer, the person who makes the final decision? And so, oops. So those are the hats. Okay, so we're going straight into marketing. So, okay, so marketing. So we see these three bullets about marketing. So in the chat, kind of tell me what you think right now what marketing is. What is marketing to you? When you think about your business, what does marketing mean to your business? Getting the word out, absolutely. Awareness. What else? Social media, magazine ads, okay? Advertising, making your company name, making sure your company name is easily searchable. Okay, so that's SEO, selling your brand, market research, soliciting my services. Right. So marketing does encompass all of those things. Absolutely. So you want people to be aware of your business, you want people to be aware of your services, you want people to be aware of your logo, you want people to be aware of your slogan, you want people to be aware of your mission and your values. But your marketing is, in a nutshell, how people remember you. That is what it is. It is how your customers, the audience, the market remembers your business. And so being creative in your service titles, if you're service based, I'm service based, so I lean in that space. But if you're service based, being creative in your titles, if you're product based, being your packaging, making sure that people remember your business, your product. So marketing is, are you rememberable? Can I remember you? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. I know McDonald's, and I don't even eat McDonald's, but they seem to be always in my head. But that's marketing. Remembering these jingles, that's marketing. So can you make your business marketable? Nope, I didn't. So marketing also consists of strategies used to create and desire your purchase. It creates and promotes your image and builds your brand. Your product or service will not sell itself. It will not. You have to have some grit and intention behind selling your product or service. So branding, name recognition, qualification, market identity, and advertising. Does anyone already have a logo or a business name? Yes or no? Yep. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, so sales, contact and connect with your customers. I don't know what this. Go back. Oh, I guess we're just going through sales. Okay, so what are sales? Revenue for the business. Contact and connect with your customers. You find prospects, you make presentations, prepare bids, close deals, process orders. So that's not really how sales, like the full flow of what sales is, but it will start with that marketing. And so it will be what creates awareness, captures attention, makes people intrigued, want to find out more about you, your business, your services, your products, and then ultimately leads to that transaction, which is what everyone wants is a sales order or purchase. So this is a reflection point. Do you have the skills? So, are you weak in any areas of business operation? So, you don't have to air your weaknesses out in the chat, but if you're feeling compelled to be transparent, what is one area of your business operations or business operations in general that you feel like is an area of opportunity for you to either strengthen your skill set, connect with someone that is stronger than you are, or pay for the help? Marketing. TikTok dances. I am not good at TikTok dancing either.
I mean, that one alone for me just won the evening. So
TikTok dances, um, finance, accounting, marketing. Absolutely, yeah. Marketing and finances, I feel like, are probably the two areas when we think about being a small business owner or entrepreneur that coming right in, there is a learning curve because it's so much. It is so much to actually be intentional and see good growth through because those two areas will, if you master them or you connect with someone who can master them, that's where you see exponential growth within your business. And so, what can you take a course to improve your skills? So, we just learned from the library. If you are in the Charlotte area with your library card, you can connect on LinkedIn Learning. You can do Universal Class. And then also, too, guess what else you can do to improve your skills? You can come to a SCORE Mixer event and connect and network with the local community and find someone to help you build those skills. And you can also get a SCORE mentor, too. If there are duties that don't fit your skills, can you hire, take a partner, or outsource these tasks? And even if you're skilled in those roles, you won't have to handle them all the time. So, which is most important to your business? And so that goes back to, understanding who you are as a business owner and as a person first. And then, two, being open back to what Joshua said about understanding that you may not have it, you may not know it all. And so if you want to see growth, you have to put yourself in a very humble position to ask for support, help, and that skill set knowledge. So other critical factors: location, location, location. Um, Location is absolutely one of those areas that we don't speak about enough because there are so many home-based businesses. But is your home quiet enough for you to work? You may have to go to the library or do what is it, industrious. So there's a industrious has like these co-working spaces that you can rent out by the month, and determine how many hours you want per month to be able to use the co-working space. But so that way you can maybe have some defined time where you're away from family, you're away from distractions, noise, and you can lean in and really knock out some things on your to-do list for your business. So location is absolutely important. Niche and target market. Um, I have people talk about niche markets all the time, right? So your target audience and your target market are two different things, right? So your audience is the uh, if you're in Charlotte, Usher was here last night. So the audience was everybody at Spectrum. But that market that was right in front of him, they were really enjoying that concert. They were really enjoying that concert. So when you're thinking about the overall, your overall marketing strategy, yes, you want to cast that net out with your audience. So, um, what's a product, for example? I'm drawing a blank. Okay, so like you're in the educational space, right? And so you're an author, you have a book, and you want to get it out to the masses, right? Because books, people read books all the time. You can put it in audio, so that audience is wide, right? It's for anybody who listens or reads a book. But then you want to start to narrow in. If this is a self-help book for children, then your audience and how you market to teachers is going to be different than how you market and niche to parents. And so when you think about your audience, it's the big net. The market is going to be that target market is going to be that specific pain point that you talk to that person particularly. So that's audience and market. Competition, we talked about competitors, distribution, and merchandising. So those things are more specific to product based businesses. So I'm not going to go into that. Price. Pricing is a big critical factor. But I think it also goes back to identifying your audience and your market, right? So you have people who eat at Steak 48 and enjoy the steak. And I will say that steak is really, really good. And then you have people who eat at Outback. And I will say that that steak is really good too. So depending on my day and how much money I want to spend, I might go to Steak 48 and I might go to Outback. So pricing is depending on who that audience is and then who that specific market is. So all of your products may not be priced the same way because you're targeting different markets within your audience. And then competitors, understanding your competitors. What are your competitors charging? Um, and if you can honestly, I will say this, if you can honestly extract value, because consumers are savvy. Think about when you go spend your money. When you go spend your money, you're looking for value. You do want to pay attention to price, but you're shopping with value in mind, right? So I buy Dove sensitive soap for my daughter. I could easily buy the Walmart version of it and save $3 extra, but I like how Dove lather. So I'm going to spend, unfortunately, that $7, $8 for the Dove because it matters to me. I can save $3, but I like how it lathers. So understanding when you're trying to create more value, that's how you can extract more pricing, a better price structure for your business. So pay attention to your pricing when you are developing your services and your products. Assess your competitors. We've already spoke about competitors. I'm not going to lean into that too much because I do not want you to get so bent towards what other people are doing, that you don't focus on all of the tasks ahead of you. Do what you do, make sure you love it. Competitors are always going to be around us, but there is going to be a client for you if you can consistently show up for them and you are reliable in what they need you to be reliable for. All right, so making it legal. So before I go there, any questions? Any questions? Questions? Yes. Okay, Stephanie. If you have a question, can we take her, give her unmute capabilities?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, so how do I find my niche? So I want a nonprofit for young ladies and women, but I don't know how to get started with my actual idea. I don't know how to pinpoint where I want to go with that.
Okay, so you want to start a nonprofit for young women, and what, I guess, to pinpoint, what are you trying to, what problem are you solving within these young women?
Just I don't know, like empowerment, self-esteem. I mean, it could be a plethora of things, but I feel like I'm too wide open with it, and I don't know what in particular. Like it could be battered women, homeless women, second chance, like if they went to jail or something. It could be anything, but I just don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this, and
Okay.
you don't, and you don't have to answer out loud if you don't feel comfortable. But what's wanting you to start this nonprofit to focus on these things? Is it something that you've experienced yourself, where you've had to pull yourself up in your own self-esteem because something happened to you, or someone you know that was really close? Like, what's making you want to lean into that space?
Definitely because of things that have happened to me, but because I've just always felt like I had that gift to gab to empower and
Mm-hmm.
to help build um, and speak life into women.
Okay. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And so when you're thinking about trying to niche, you don't have to go personal with us tonight, but when you
Right.
go into planning, go into personal planning with yourself. And
Okay.
so that way you can focus, you can identify. There's a quote that I saw a while ago. I became the person I needed when I was younger. So kind of go
Mm,
back to that space, and then that'll help you niche. Like if I'm dealing with women who faced unhousing situations, because I was in an unhoused situation before, you can lean with that and
mhm.
let that be your primary focus until you're ready to expand to other areas. Because then you may realize that you're talking to women about being able to, dust their shoulders off, and then here comes another idea and opportunity to where maybe it translates to being bullied as an adolescent or even as an adult, and so now you're building their self-esteem back up. So I would go personal in your planning for yourself to find your niche first and what you're going to start off with, and then let that kind of spread like wildfire, because self-esteem is a huge issue, but there's so many different underlying reasons why people have self-esteem issues.
Hey, Keon,
Right.
it's Thomas. I'm just curious, as you think about, there's probably a lot of folks that I've talked to that have a similar sort of opportunity, which is how do I start, right? So, Keon, I know we haven't talked really much about the business plan, but how much could that help in terms of sort of narrowing the guardrails for those who have an idea and a vision, but or maybe challenge a little bit with the specifics around where they want to focus on first.
Okay. So if you have, okay, so if you, and I just want to make sure I understand the question, right? So you have an idea, you know what you want to do, but you don't know what piece to start first.
Yeah, how much would a business plan help Stephanie here as she's starting to narrow her focus, get more specific around where she wants to focus her energy on from an not-for-profit?
So the business plan would help tremendously, because the business plan starts to put all of the little pieces together. And it doesn't have to be this, you know, 30-page document. And if you connect with the SCORE mentor, we have this thing called the business model canvas, and it's 9 boxes, and it's literally just your resources, it's your services. And I think for if you're the business plan, I would always start with my services. That to answer your question, Thomas, start with the services you want to offer, and that helps you kind of unpack all of the other pieces. Because um, if I'm in the nonprofit space that Stephanie is in, right, and I'm trying to figure out how do I want to support women with self-esteem issues, and I'm just going to lead with self-esteem issues, and I'm not sure, I'm going to start with my services, because I may know that I don't want to deal with women who have self-esteem issues attached to addiction. So if I know that I don't want to do that, then I'm not going to think about that, because it's not listed in my services. So I think when you're thinking about your business plans and you're trying to figure out what's the first thing I should do, start with your services, because that's where you figure out where revenue is supposed to come in and how you want to get revenue. That's going to tie to, do you need, what type of legal parameters you have surrounding your services to make sure you're compliant. So start with your services when you're thinking about, what am I supposed to do first?
Yeah.
Services. What am
Well,
I
I know
offering?
we've got legal coming up, and then right after that, I think it's business plans. So Stephanie, I would pay special attention to that section. I know Joshua had a question in the chat, and I've unmuted your
Yeah.
line.
All right, Joshua. Thank you, Stephanie. I hope I helped you with that.
Yeah, I was just basically saying if I know that Stephanie was trying to do a nonprofit, but if you start out with a primary audience where it's very vague, and then go into a secondary where it's a little bit more specific, and then a tertiary where it's like hyper focused, or you can even have more steps in between. I think that would be a good way of getting the idea of where your niche would be, and then as you go on with the business, there's going to be other audiences that come to you for assistance, and so when you come to those, you can choose whether or not to open your doors to them. And then, I mean, you have it right there, I think,
Absolutely.
at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I do like how you kind of broke the segments into niching down into 3 different areas. But I would definitely focus on my services to see how they align with the overall vision. Is it something that I need to start very small, offering 1 or 2 services, and then kind of expand out? So thank you all. All right. All right. So making it legal. So there are 5 different types of business organizations. We have, well, no, it's more than that. The nonprofit, it doesn't have the nonprofit on here. The forms of business organizations, you have your sole proprietorships, which that is one person running the organization. You have your partnerships, you have your LLCs, C corps, and S corps. If you have your business organized, drop what you have in the chat. Did you do a sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, C corp, or S corp? And I do not lean heavy into this, because I am not a legal person as far as being able to really give content behind it. I'm not an attorney. I've never taken a legal class before. So this is all going through the presentation. Please consult legal people if you have questions. That's my disclaimer. So recommendations. So these are recommendations, per SCORE recommendations. Keep it simple. Sole proprietorships or partnership. If liability or taxation is concerned, an LLC or S corp. Once again, consult someone who knows this. Business attorneys, paralegals, even CPAs can help because of the taxing. But these are recommendations for startups from SCORE. And so here are some government regulations to be mindful of: business licenses and approvals, labor laws, immigration laws, IRS, and Social Security withholding and payments. So I think the latter is more so if you have employees, but once again, consult a legal professional. And here is options, or here are options, excuse me, to for insurance considerations. I'm not going to read through that, but I will say this: when you're thinking about protecting your business, protect your business. I know insurance is a bill, even in our personal life, that just seems to keep getting out of control. But I would rather be covered in the event something happens than not. So consider your insurance based off of your business, what you may need to keep yourself protected if something happens and someone complains, gets sick, you know, any of those potential risks. All right, so we're getting into business plan. So the business plan has a plethora of importance when you're thinking about um, your business. And the first thing I want to say is that it is a working document. So the business plan I started when I first decided that I was going to leave corporate America is not the business plan that I'm using today and is a part of my next 10-year growth plan for my business. It's a working document. But the idea is to start to organize your thoughts behind how you want to grow your business, how you want your customers to um, how you want your customers to grow with your business, how you want your customers' attitude to be towards your business. It's a working document, it's a blueprint, it's a framework. It is not, set in stone and you'll write it one time and never look back at it. So it encourages an objective view. Objective view. It becomes the foundation for planning. It's a powerful management tool and it communicates the owner's ideas. So, this table of contents or this business plan content, give or take, is a rough estimate of what should be in your business plan. So the business itself in section one, that's going to cover your all of your umbrellas when it comes down to operational plans. So when are you open? When are you closed? Your marketing plan, that's going to encompass maybe risk contingency, so business continuity planning, but it is what your business does. How do you serve your consumers? Your market research, so identifying who your audience is, who your market is, all of those good things. So section one is the actual business, and it is the business that you see it today. You can definitely do some visionary wording in that part, but the main thing is writing down in that business plan what it is today, and so you can start to see where I'm missing some information and I need to go out and find it, or where okay, I know I'm going to be a Monday through Saturday operation. We're going to be, especially if you're retail hours, I need this many staff, like, so those are the things that are going to be in section one. Section two is financial forecast. Um, Give or take, right? You want to definitely make sure you have your financials in your business. And it's okay to say, I have not made a dollar this year. I don't plan to make a dollar in the next year because I'm really just building this business. But it's to get you to see, like, how much money can you make with this business? Is this a viable business idea to really generate revenue, and forecast it? So don't be afraid of the finances. Be realistic with them. Be honest with yourself. We know Rome is not built in a day. So, year one, I mean, I can't sit here and say you can't do it, but realistically, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make $1 million in year one, right? So just be real with yourself with the finances. And then section three, supporting data, that is normally your appendix and references. And so that will be any type of financial charts that you have. If you have an organizational chart, meaning you have staff, put yourself as a leader, you may have, an admin assistant or something like that, but those are going to go in section three, your appendix and your references. So every business owner needs, and we talked about a good bit of these things, a banker. So get to know your community, small business bank people, bankers. So one of my clients, I actually just made him have his homework for me was going to 4 banks in his area, talking to the business bank, the small business banker. Don't sign up for anything, but really understanding how can this business help my business? How can the bank help my business? What are your products? Do you have minimum checking amounts? Do you offer financing? Do you offer payment processors? What are, like, why should I do business with this bank? And so having a relationship with the banker is a really good ace in your pocket to have for now and the future. A lawyer, paralegal, something in that legal space that can counsel you on the legality of your business, help you with your contracts, help you with in the event that you have a disgruntled customer or client, and arbitration, have arbitration agreements, those things, like making sure that you are covering yourself from a legal standpoint, because people will take you to court. They absolutely will. An accountant, once again, we talked about that at the very beginning. I think that is number one, even when you're not making money. Understand, how do you set up your books? How do you separate your business finances from yourself, even when you ain't making no money yet? Separate it. Just go ahead and separate it. Insurance agent and a business mentor. Luckily, you all can get free business mentors through SCORE. So sign up with SCORE. If you're not in the, well, Charlotte chapter, we cover Charlotte Metro and then the 17 surrounding areas. So unless you're probably like, if you're in like Guilford County or something like that, we will not be able to service you. But if you're in one of the surrounding 17 counties, you will get a Charlotte SCORE mentor. So if you need a business mentor, please sign up. It is free. We are here. We're ready to help. And then the last part is the small business readiness assessment, self assessment. And so we're not going to fill out any sheets. Let me see how much time we got. Okay, we got 27 minutes, so we might end up early. I think this is all going to be a part of your send out from after the webinar. So you can do that assessment when you get the PDF from the handouts from the slide deck. So we can do the vision statement for your business, and then we're going to leave the rest of the night open for Q&A. And if you all want to get out here early, that's perfectly fine. But we're here till 7:30. So vision statement for your business idea. It should contain an overall purpose for your business, what you're trying to achieve, and why you are in business. So I'm gonna give you all a few moments, and let's see how many participants we got. So, vision statements. What are you trying to achieve? If you want to come off of mute, you can tell us. We're just going to answer it one by one. What are you trying to achieve in your business? What are you trying to do? You can come off mute and share, or you can drop it in the chat, and we will create some conversation behind it. So, what are you trying to achieve in your business? I know I'll go for myself. So like I said, I have a consulting firm. I focus on operations. So what I am trying to achieve is I'm trying to make sure every business I have strategic documents to keep on going. So that is what I'm trying to achieve. I want you to be able to see your business in the future through documentation. So what are you trying to achieve? Somebody's off. If you're off mute, go ahead and share.
Yeah, this is Lillian. Yeah, I was just about the achievement. I was thinking about like just providing healthy, homemade goods to for people to use. Um, that's a very basic purpose, but without many preservatives and additives, just basic ingredients. And it's kind of health based, and also I think that's about it. I don't know what else to say.
Awesome. I think that's good. I think the first thing is don't minimize what you're doing, right? So we definitely know that poor nutrition is a epidemic. And so when you're saying I want to provide healthier options that
Mm-hmm.
have less preservatives, say it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's needed, right? We need it,
Yeah.
and it's made with love because it's home baked. So I think that's a great thing that you're trying to achieve. So why are you in business? What made you want to do this?
Um, because I've heard from many people that they would buy my bread and the baked goods that I make. So I was seriously thinking
Hello?
about it.
One at a time.
Hello?
Okay, so
Can
yeah,
you hear
who?
me?
Yes, can you go on mute, please? And
Okay.
then we will get you next. Thank you. Okay, so Lillian, you said that people have told you. So the market has created demand for what you offer.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So as you're thinking about what you're trying to achieve and why you are in business, I would write it down a few times until it becomes stronger and how
Okay.
you deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're
Okay.
trying to achieve, what you're trying to achieve. You're wanting to create more healthier options in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you have a passion for cooking. Because most people, if you don't like cooking, you won't go into that space. So you have to like baking, and then
Mm-hmm.
two, you have an audience that is interested in buying healthier options from you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would write it down, and I would write it until it becomes really strong to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So who was next that had came off of mute? I'm sorry.
I think that was Andrea. If I'm saying her name
Okay.
right. Let me see if she can unmute.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I think my mistake was I had already tried to establish my business with Secretary of State, but my virtual office that I picked, it was not business suite. So I think that's where I messed up because it was all restaurants. So that's my first mistake. So I filed it with the Secretary of State and then got denied. So now I'm redoing it, but I was kind of lost about the agent of becoming your own agent.
Okay. So hold on. Let's backtrack.
Okay.
So you filed paperwork for an LLC and it
Yeah.
got denied.
Yes.
And why did it get denied?
I'm thinking because I don't know exactly, but I'm thinking because the virtual office that I bought, it was a plot where it was a bunch of restaurants. It was no office space.
So they didn't provide you with a explanation.
No, it
Okay.
just
So I
said did not
you
that
should.
incorrect information or something like that.
Let's see. I'm going to send you a private message for someone at the Secretary of State to see
Okay.
if he can. Okay. I'm going to send you a private message with my email address, and I'm going to connect with you after this. Okay. But in the
Okay.
interim, okay, so just going back to vision statements, what's your
Okay.
business and what are you trying to achieve?
Okay, my business is scratching hair, like scratching your scalp, and removal or trash pickup. Like if someone has trash and they need it removed, I pick it up and take it to the bins.
Okay, so are these two separate organizations?
No, it's a in one company.
Okay. Um, okay, so what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to do? How are you trying to make impact, or what can your customers expect from you?
They can expect for I mean they scratch their hair and then I give them a wash afterward. Washing
Okay, so
condition.
you're in the beauty industry.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, and then why are you in business?
I'm in business because I can. I know I love people scratching my hair. It feels very relaxing, and I can offer that to other customers as well.
Okay. Okay. So I sent you my email address in private chat. Make sure you send me an email about the Secretary of State so that we can
Mhm.
figure out um, why your paperwork was denied. But I
Okay.
will say this: I'm not sure, but you have two businesses that are on total different spectrums, and so maybe we need
Okay.
to create some clarity behind what you do and how you want to add value into the marketplace. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
There were a couple of
Uh,
comments was one comment in chat. Veronica looked like she gave a vision statement there. I'm going to see if I can get her off mute to chime in if she's willing.
I'm off mute.
Hey, there you are.
Yes. So I've been in the medical field well over 20 years, working on the nonprofit side as well as profit side, and um, I'm gonna say mid to C-suite level management positions, and doing the administrative part of getting, like I say, hiring, terminating, but processing medical providers in and understanding that. So that is my reason. And two, I stepped away from the brick and mortar about a year ago, and I've been working from home as a contractor for an agency doing credentialing, but I want to be able to do it at my own level and more in depth than what I'm currently doing. So it sparked me to like, okay, I've always been steady saying I wanted to start a business. And I'm like, this is something I know I have the knowledge, I have the educational background and experience, um, and I know the resources for it. So this is why I'm stepping out into this arena of becoming a sole business owner, under a LLC.
so I'm going to read your vision statement. And is it Credentigo?
Yes.
Okay, is a minority-owned professional medical credentialing service that aims to address the systematic credentialing inequalities that disproportionately affect minority medical health providers, creating significant barriers in care for African American and Latino communities. So that's a mission. I think it's beautifully written, right? That's a mission statement. So your
More of a
mission
mission.
is to, yep, your mission is to level the playing field and address inequalities. Your vision is going to be how you do that. So how will you do that? So Credentigo will focus on expertise. I'm not, and I'm just making stuff up, but expertise, um, your years of experience in the field. So Credential has over 20 years in the field of medical credentialing, and we are trying to lower, or not lower, let's say we're trying to increase the amount of diverse providers credentialed with insurance. And I'm just throwing this out here, but your vision is what you're trying to do. So what are you trying to do? Your mission is what you're addressing, but that vision is what are you trying to do. And so that is where you focus, or that's what I would encourage you to focus on with your vision statement. Because when you start to
Okay.
say what you're trying to do, you know what happens, you start to put your pieces together as to what you're trying to do.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
So
your
now
mission
would I
statement is what
more or
you
less
wrote, which is
quantify
great.
any of it?
Hmm.
I said, would I more or less use any quantification in that vision statement?
If you want, not necessarily, not the mission statement, I mean the vision statement.
Okay.
You want to keep them simple, but you just want to show what you're trying to do, like what is that end result, because the vision is lowering, or the mission, excuse me, the mission is addressing the systematic inequalities, but the vision
Okay.
is like basically how are you going to achieve that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Thomas. I mean, the best way I'd try to give people advice on this is to say, if you're in an elevator for 15 seconds with Shark from Shark Tank as an example, say your vision statement in the hopes that they would invest in your business. And so how you articulate that statement with that short amount of time to capture that attention is critical, right? So how crisp, succinct you are, but you're not only selling your business, you're also selling yourself. And that's why you see here at the third bullet point, what's important to your business, and more importantly, what are the values that you've integrated into your business that hopefully will hook someone into being interested in your product or service.
Absolutely. Wholeheartedly
Yeah.
agree.
Okay, I appreciate the input.
Yeah, thanks for
Um,
sharing.
Thank you
Sure.
for sharing. Let's get Derek, because Derek did put something in. So Derek, if you want to come off and share.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for doing this. We really appreciate you volunteering your time and giving us all this knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. You're welcome.
So we're gonna start a pool service company that does mainly focusing on the weekly service aspects, so the cleaning and the vacuuming, balancing chemicals and stuff. But our focus is more going to be the comprehensive, and when we get hired, the homeowner won't have to worry about anything except keeping the water level at the correct level in their pool. So we want to completely alleviate the burden of, wondering when to clean the filters, wondering when to backwash, wondering how to maintain, wondering, what chemicals to use to do so on and so forth with their pool. Um, so we really want to be the premier pool service company in the area, and then expand further and further south and as north as we can possibly go.
I love that. So when you're thinking about your vision statement, make sure you include comprehensive, because that's what I'm hearing. As I mean, I don't have a pool, but if I wanted a pool, comprehensive, like I need someone to come in and low key let me turn it into what is his name? George Foreman, set it and forget it. And that's what I'm hearing when I hear comprehensive. So what you're trying to achieve is you're trying to provide this service. And are you going to do installation as well, or is it the maintenance piece of it? Okay, so no. Okay, so it's the maintenance piece.
Oh, okay. I accidentally muted myself. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
So yeah, it's just going to be right now. We're just going to stay with the service and maintenance. Eventually, we do want to get into building and installing pools, a lot of the bigger structural stuff that goes with the pools. But for right now, just trying to build that customer base, show off the high quality of work and the customer service that we provide.
Absolutely. So definitely lead with your comprehensive maintenance, because that's really important. That lets me know that this is not just going to be a water change. It's not going to be just this basic maintenance man coming to check on my pool, but it's going to be like if I have any issues, I'm calling Derek and I'm calling his firm. So I love that. And so why are you in business?
Mainly because, kind of like what you were talking with the other lady, I forgot her name, but when you dig down deep into your experiences, and that's what it was. We moved into a house, into a neighborhood we knew nothing about, a state we knew nothing about, and it had a pool and we knew nothing about it. And then trying to get someone to come out and talk to us like people was very difficult. And they were flaky. We couldn't get anybody out here. And so now we've got this pool that we wanted to enjoy and we can't because it's starting to turn weird colors.
Awesome. So that drove you into wanting to provide a service that people can rely on. I love it. Okay,
Yes.
and we got time for. Thank you so much for sharing, Derek. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And so we have time for one more. So it looks like Dwayne is in the chat. So Dwayne, if you would come off mute and share with us your vision, What are you trying to achieve with your business? And tell us about what is your business, what you're trying to achieve.
Hey, can you hear me? Because I have the HDMI hooked up.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. So I'm interested in the transportation service, but I specialize in the medical courier
Mm-hmm.
portion of the business. What was the question you asked? What is the vision?
Yeah, so what are you trying to achieve?
So it's actually what I had typed in the chat because I already had like a mock business plan written up. So it's to be the top independent courier in the region, recognized for efficiency, safety, adherence, and for the healthcare standards.
Okay. And why are you in business?
It's I just with me it's I know I like to provide service. Like that's just me. I like to help people out. So I really don't know how to word that the best, but that's it.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. I think that your vision is to be the top independent medical carrier in the region, and that's very specific, recognized for efficiency, safety, and adherence to health care standards. I think that's really well written. Good job on that.
Thank you.
All right, so we have about 7 minutes. If you have contact information that you want to share with the group, drop them in the chat now, and we can leave the rest of the time for any conversations. I mean, any questions. Excuse me. So Lillian says, I'd say speaking with customers to convey my ideas, but about the business with confidence. That's it. Okay, Lillian, come off mute. What do you mean? If you can. But in the interim, drop any contact information. If you already have a business, Instagram page, Facebook page, website, LinkedIn, how can people connect with you outside of tonight? Drop it in the chat.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about how to improve communication, especially talking to customers, to convey the ideas about business. Um, is there any resources online or?
So when you say you are trying to convey your ideas about your business to customers
Yeah.
with confidence, so that's what you're struggling with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so practice what you need to say. I think if you think about like why you may be a little shy about talking about it, it's
Uh-huh.
because you may not 100% understand why you're doing what you do. And so build that up. Now, there is um, of course, when we think about communication with customers, it's going to be marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're
Yeah.
thinking about one-on-one settings with people, just like me and you talking right now, that's
Mm-hmm.
building that confidence in what you do is just saying, this is what I do. And so constantly and repeatedly doing it to yourself in
Okay.
the mirror. Work on your face, your face, your facial expressions and things like that. But I think the confidence comes from knowing what you do and why you do it. Because if you tell me you make baked home goods because of it having more nutritional value, that's something I can't take away from you as to why you do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so Derek says that I looked online. I can't find what insurance to require for service-based business that will um, like the one I will start. Can you please put me in the right direction? Okay, so with you, Derek, you have general liability. General liability will be um, definitely a main thing, right? Because you're providing consulting services. Um, so when you're providing consulting and you're providing maintenance, so whatever tools you will use will need to be insured. Um, let me see. Let me see if I can do it quick.
Yeah, it's Thomas. I mean, well, kind of while you're looking at that, I mean,
Uh,
something as simple as car insurance you would need, right? liability insurance potentially. So it depends on how you decide to operate your business. I would certainly encourage you to speak with a licensed professional from an insurance standpoint to really uncover all the insurance needs that you may possibly need to undertake. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of foundational insurance components that are going to be across the board for any new business. But specific to that industry, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything specific to it, but certainly would benefit you to talk to someone professionally.
Absolutely. And then Dwayne says just networking in this industry in general. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, Ken, I would say if Dwayne's looking to network, I've been to a couple of these mixers through SCORE as I'm a relatively new mentor, but maybe just a quick plug for that as we're getting close to the bottom of the hour.
Absolutely. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to stop sharing screen. Thank you all for being such an engaging group tonight. I appreciate you for allowing me and Thomas into your evenings for 2 hours. And so, like I said at the beginning of the meeting, I am a part of our Charlotte chapter's outreach team. And so every other month we host what is called the Big Score Mixer. And so we do rotate around the 17 counties that we serve in the Charlotte area. Our next Score Mixer will be a holiday event because we're already at the end of the year, and it will be on December 3rd. Now, the details will be sent out to you through email once we all get that together, but we will give you ample amount of time to know about it and the location. It's always free, so come out, enjoy our mixers. Thomas, are you joining the outreach?
The December one, would you say December? What's the date?
December 3rd.
December 3rd. I'm likely.
Okay,
I was
awesome.
I was at the
So
last one. We were at up at Lake Norman.
yeah, that was nice. So now that we have you all registered for the webinars, you will get Big Score Mixer emails. So be on the lookout for that. And then aside from that, January will be when we start our every other month. So you will get communication on that. So if you're looking to network, Dwayne, make sure you pay attention and come out. Just register. It's always going to be free. And so I think that's all I have. Thomas, any parting words?
Yeah, just put in the chat. Make sure you sign up for a free Score Mentor if you haven't already. Again, just go to the website, put in your information, and the website will denote what actual chapter you'll be assigned a mentor from. As Kiana said, we've got about what is it, Mecklenburg and 13 other counties in the Charlotte area.
It's like 17. That's
17, something like that. Yeah. So
yeah, because
so
we
if you're
carry
you're in
Raquel
that
too.
area, you'll either get Kiana, myself, or one of our partners or peers. But outside of that area, I know we had someone join from Asheville and some other areas here. You'll get assigned a mentor in your region. So make sure you sign up for it. It's free. I love free. So, anyways, but Kiana, thanks for taking 2 hours out of your time, out of your day to give this content. And yeah, thanks so much for joining everybody.
Thank you all. Have a good night.